Hey, buddy. Thanks for all the warm response. I have another idea to share with you today. I've been working on this painting for a couple months. It's over clayboard, mostly acrylic with watercolor, sumi ink. And I have a friend who gives me a lot of grief for my cropping, and I wanted to see if I could help fulfill his wishes and give this guy more of an arm. So I made a print on watercolor paper using my Epson printer and Claria inks. It's supposed to last a couple hundred years. And gave it a border so I could work on his arm. And so I've recreated the edge of the glove and his arm previously, given it several coats of white paint because it kind of kills the top and bottom end to do this. So I've given it a couple of coats of the Sumi ink already and white going all around and on his eyes. And I'm noticing it's a little flat on his breast. So what I wanted to share with you is another experiment of taking some alizarin crimson watercolor, one of my favorites to bring flesh to life, and very carefully, as basically I've deposited more watercolor on this painting, and the ink that I've previously laid down is movable, to move as I paint on it. So I'm going to start just very lightly. I've already thinned down this paint quite a bit along the line. The thing about trying to model skin tones and to make it lifelike is it takes going all the way to the top and the bottom, and each of the colors that makes up skin tone, especially alizarin crimson, kind of indicates the blood pumping through a body. Makes it more alive, if you will. So once you get started, there's not much you can do but play it out. So try to gradually move what you're doing over the entire area, keeping in mind that you're modeling a three-dimensional form on a two-dimensional space. And in this case, of course, the ink is going to start moving on me too over the watercolor paper. So you're never quite sure exactly how it's going to dry. So it's a little tricky to know how far to take it, when to stop. So we are doing what we can here, keeping in mind as you get to the highlights, you don't necessarily want to run more paint there. But I do want a little bit on this nipple. Okay. I think I feel better about seeing what's going to happen to that. Let it dry. But you do need to echo the same color a little bit below. This gets a little orangey red down here, so I think I can leave that alone. But I do need a little bit over here for the shadow. And also here. You have to carry the same color scheme across enough of an area that the eye will take it as a natural thing and not be distracted by a different color scheme in an area. So we'll drop a little bit there. And that almost does it. I want to drop a little bit here. We'll kind of hit the shadows. of the painting while we're at it. The more you can do at the same time is the better. For having it lay naturally to the eye. Okay, this is drying a little bit and it's going to be subtle, so I can go back and try a little more, I think. It's pretty watered down still, but it did lift a little ink here, so when that starts happening, it's hard to tell what's going to happen, so it's a good point to leave it alone for the moment. But I think that's going to be a little more three-dimensional modeling than I like. And at the same time, before I started, I've did another layer of white. And that's drying enough now that I could see some areas that need to be filled in again. And basically, I keep doing this until it works for me and my eye's not distracted. While we're at it, as long as we're at it, we need to add just another drop of white to his eyes. And the highlight, I'm doing the same thing with black when I'm doing black. And doing my best to make him three-dimensional. I'll post the finished version on my blog, wcburnworth.com. And I appreciate you coming along for the ride. Keep experimenting. Try some painting.